Welcome to Ignorant Sports Talk. This is Jack here, coming to you from the galaxy. I got Panky here, got Figgy here, got Jay Easy Stay Breezy here, man Pro here. We're all chilling. We're talking sports. We're gonna start off with Little Last Dance translated to the NFL topic here, fellas. So what we're gonna go with here. My question to you: we're all watching The Last Dance. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
but
it is.
What player or what team, what in the NFL do you guys want to see given The Last Dance treatment? What's that documentary that you want to see, the in-depths, you want to see the down and dirty of what happened? What story do you want to be told?
How the Patriots deflated the footballs.
Hey, go ahead now.
Listen, they could win an Academy Award for that shit. So I kind of agree.
I'm telling you, man. We need to know. The people want to know. All jokes aside, I think the only we talked about it a little bit already. The only team that I think is necessary is the 49ers. Like, I'm sure other people have different opinions about what team, but like outside of the Patriots' long run and their history of championships from 2000 to 2020, I don't really look at another team as someone as an organization or a program that I want to know the inner workings of. I really don't give a damn. Even though I'm a Falcons fan, like I already know the inner workings of the Falcons. It's called fuckery. So there's no need to continue into that right now. If I was to look into the Giants, I probably would want to kill myself. So it's a lot of things. I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? But like with the 49ers, like Warren mentioned earlier, you know, they went from Montana to Young like that. You know, they had Rice and, you know, like it's just a lot going on in there. And you're like, damn, like, what are you guys doing, you know? And I'd love to see some big names on screen to see how those guys maintain that level of athleticism, level of perfection at all times. And also find out, what did y'all do to Colin Kaepernick? Like what happened? How did they soul box Colin Kaepernick? That's what I need to find out.
Bro, that nigga woke up one morning and he was shit.
I think the answer is John Harbaugh to that question.
Ooh. Yeah.
Damn. Yikes. Jack, shut all the way up.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. But no, that is one of the most interesting stories, you know, in sports, where you had this guy that he was well, no, I wouldn't say on top of the world, but he was doing very, very well, and then suddenly this guy's out of the league, and you got my answer for this question. If I can just segue into that. I want to see the Nathan Peterman story. I want to see the Nathan Peterman. I want to see his rise to fame. I want it to be like one of those mockumentaries where it starts out and he's like, you know, really good in high school and he like does well in university, and then he gets to the NFL and throws 5 interceptions and just gets embarrassed, and then it just ends.
Wow.
A slightly longer version of that could be the Mitch Trubisky story also.
Oh no.
Hey, don't do you know what? Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't know if anybody will remember this. 2006, there was a guy who should have been on top of the world. This guy went 18 games as a quarterback and was killing it. And then the Super Bowl came. And we all realized that the best quarterback on the team was the middle linebacker. Does anybody remember watching Rex Grossman play in the Super Bowl? Because that game was something where I was like,
listen, they should have let Russ, what's his name? Devin Hester, throw the ball, kick the ball, run the ball.
They should have just let Urlacher be quarterback for that game. There's like, listen, Brian, we need you to hand off the ball. If you're gonna make a pass, just grunt at the receivers, they'll figure it out. But Rex, you have to sit down, bro.
I just feel bad for any NFL fan that has a bad quarterback. And like on behalf of the show, like, you know, just I'm sorry to all of you because it sucks when your team has a bad quarterback. Like, I don't gotta really worry about that at the moment because I have the best quarterback in the NFL. But you know,
You know what,
Second
Jack? I don't like your attitude. I don't like your attitude. I don't like that because you just got one of the best quarterbacks. Jack,
well, we transitioned from elite to elite.
you would stop. You transitioned from Joey Flaccid
Hold on.
to Lamar Jackson.
I gotta fix my camera. I think I just heard some bullshit. Hold on. What's going on here?
That's the thing. Exactly. Yeah, something is. Jack went from Joey Flaccid to Lamar Jackson, talking about we went from elite to elite. Joey Flaccid was never elite. He was just he got lucky a couple of times.
I think Jack traded for Patrick Mahomes and Madden. I think he's getting confused.
Yeah.
Nah, I will actually, like, that, all joking aside though, personally, like, I do think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Just for the record. I think Lamar is maybe not even, maybe after Russell even, maybe right now Lamar might be like third or fourth, in my opinion.
Yeah. I can see why you say that.
Yeah, Lamar's young. You got to be consistent to be considered the great. That's the one thing I can never, as much as I hate his face, I can never take away from Tom Brady. He is consistently great every season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I don't need to see that trip. I don't need to see no damn documentary. I already watched it already.
I ain't gonna lie, if I had to choose a team, the 49ers is definitely, to me, they're the most interesting because, you know, like Jay said, we know a lot about the Pats. Like, we had to see these motherfuckers on TV for how many years now, you know? And this motherfucker named Panky right there, we had to hear his mouth about this shit for how long, you know?
You guys talk about them just as much as I do, so calm down.
Yeah.
Ball talk.
Yeah, you're right. I ain't gonna lie. I'll give you that. But, I mean, as much as I hate the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys of the 90s would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting. One, because we haven't seen them motherfuckers be good since, I don't know. And two, because, you know, there's a lot of things that people don't know about that Cowboys team, myself included. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a very interesting, you know, and it's Emmitt Smith being the all-time leading rusher, Michael Irvin, you know what I mean, Troy Aikman, even though I think Tony Romo was better, he's still a great quarterback.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting documentary if you ask me.
I completely agree with that, actually, because it's a similar kind of era. You got the 90s dominance of the Dallas Cowboys, and you're right. Like, I think one of the things that's interesting about the Jordan documentary is, like, you know, like, some of us on here, we were there, you know, we were living at that time, but, like, you know, a lot of people nowadays weren't there. They don't understand. They don't know this stuff. We weren't watching games in 1989 and shit like that either. So it's given this new generation like a look at that stuff. And I think the Cowboys, it would give this new generation a reason to hate the Cowboys, which would be, you know,
That'd be great. That'd be great. No, yeah, let's give more people reasons to hate the Cowboys so that we can all exist in solidarity. Because damn, Dallas is a terrible place to be.
My pick for a team, like, I'll just say I would like to see what would happen at the end of the Brady-Belichick relationship. But that's not going to be my pick because you guys heads are going to explode with talking about the Pats. From a pure entertainment standpoint of, like, what team would you want to see get the Last Dance treatment? The John Madden Raiders.
A
lot of entertainment stuff. Because John Madden was, like, one of the youngest coaches in the league when he came in, completely unproven and very, very, very flamboyant on the sideline. And you had guys like Ken Stabler, who, you know, was legendary for going out, like, right before a game, stumbling in, and then leading the Raiders to a big victory. I think that one, from a pure entertainment standpoint, would be fun to see.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Facts.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that. The John Candy Raiders. I mean, the John Madden Raiders. My bad. R.I.P. to a great one, John Candy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, there would definitely be some good ones. And I gotta say, like, all jokes aside about the Patriots, yeah, that, like, the documentary would be sick. Like, the Tom Brady documentary would be sick. Like,
man, listen.
And we know it's gonna happen. That's the only one we know for sure is going to happen. we don't know if Tom Brady.
You know what the Patriots are like? The Patriots are like headlights. I've never had headlights myself, but I've heard stories, and it is unpleasant. That's what I think of when I hear. Every time y'all talk about the Patriots, I'm like,
getting itchy.
It hurts. It like I feel like a crackhead. Just it's enough.
I mean, they do have a lot of similarities to that Bulls team too. You know, Phil Jackson is considered by many the greatest coach in sports in basketball. I think it's Greg Popovich, but you know, a lot of people take Phil, and you know, the same could be said about Belichick and Brady. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's similar in that aspect. So it would be interesting. It would be interesting.
I wouldn't necessarily put Belichick and Brady in line with the Zen Master because we haven't seen Belichick with a different number 2 yet. You know, we watched Zen Master in Jordan, and then we watched the Zen Master in Kobe. We've only seen Belichick with Brady. So until I see Belichick do the same thing with another QB that he did with Brady, I'm not putting him up there with the Zen Master. So as of right now, the Zen Master takes the edge on that.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like I need to see if he can get another quarterback and then keep doing it, then I can look back and be like, okay, yo, Phil Jackson was able to do that with 2 different stars. So was Belichick. Tip my hat. But right now, we don't know what either player will be like without the other, or the other person. I don't know if Belichick's going to be a great coach without Brady as his quarterback, and we don't know if Brady will be a good quarterback without Belichick as his coach. So that still remains to be seen. You know what I'm saying?
But Phil Jackson never had Matt Castle.
Yikes.
That's right.
Well, to Belichick's credit, he did go 11-5 with that bump. So
I mean, is it fair to say that, you know, Phil was in New York for a minute?
He wasn't a coach though. He was, and I ain't gonna front. Phil, listen, that nigga fucked everything up in New York.
That's New York. So nah, you're right. You can't really put the Giants in line.
As a Knicks fan, hold on, which arm is it? Y'all see this shit? Listen, I'm gonna say this. You can't blame anybody for what goes wrong with the Knicks. So, with that being said, Phil gets a pass. He gets a pass. He gets a pass.
Perfection. Oh man, I mean, yeah,
His name is James, and his last name is Dolan. It's all that motherfucker's fault. That guy's terrible.
There's nothing else to say. That's it. James Dolan. That's it. There's nothing else to say.
You know who James Dolan is? Anybody ever watch Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Remember Doug Dimmadome from the Dimsdale Dimmadome? That's who James Dolan is, bro. That's who James Dolan is. James Dolan is a bucket ass dumbass. It's a Doug Dimmadome from the Dimsdale Dimmadome. That's James Dolan right there, bro.
Speaking of NBA owners, you know, they're trying to discuss right now what to do with the NBA. What are we doing? So our next topic here is with this happening right now, we don't know what's going on. We don't know if we're going to get a season. We don't know if they're going to jump into playoffs or what's going to happen. But let's assume the season's coming back. They're going to bring it back and they're going to go to the playoffs or whatever. Right? Now, how is this going to play out for you guys? Do you think that this is going to be, you know, a season where we can actually crown a champion in basketball? Do you think that it's going to be the asterisk beside it? Whoever wins is always going to be, yeah, but they didn't really win? Or
no.
What do you guys think on this?
I think a ship is a ship, man. Like, let me put it my way. The Lakers come in and they run through the playoffs and LeBron gets his title. You're going to try to turn around and be like, oh, yeah, but I mean, you know, they didn't really win. Or the only thing that somebody could use to knock the winner would be that they had a lot of time to rest and everyone got healthy again and blah, blah. But it's not like one team got that benefit. All the teams are getting that same benefit. So realistically, everyone is still playing on equal footing, right? Nobody's practicing against other teams. Nobody's playing regular season games. All facilities are closed. So it's not like you could say, oh, well, you know, this team won, but they got a whole lot of rest while everybody else was working. Or this team won, but they were able to practice extra while the other teams were in quarantine. No, everybody's on the same evil playing field. So to me, it's almost more impressive to come back from being out for 8 weeks, right? Like we're at the 8-week mark now. Let's say they come back in another 4 weeks. To be out of regular competition for 12 weeks and then jump right back into the swing of things and then get into that playoff rhythm and still win a championship, to me, that's almost more impressive because, I mean, all of us here have been an athlete at some point or another. We've all played sports. You know how hard it is to rebuild momentum once it's lost. So for a team to come back in and reclaim that momentum, that's even more impressive. So when the Lakers do win the championship, tip my hat to them niggas because they came back and that tells me that like even a great calamity couldn't stop the inevitable. So hey, go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie.
This to me is a good thing.
Yeah, I actually want to piggyback off of what Jermaine said. In my opinion, whoever wins the title this year, I think it's gonna be the Lakers. It could be the Clippers. It could be the Bucks. I actually think they have to get
the Raptors.
It will never be the Raptors. Shut it down.
Yeah, not in this world. Maybe
not now. They had their time.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I think this would actually be more impressive because, like Jay said, we've all played sports at some point in time, so we know you need reps in order to be successful. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of players that are home right now that are not working out. Fro, who was it that said that they haven't worked out at all? You named a player the other day. Who was that player that said that they haven't worked out at all since the quarantine's been going on?
Larry Nance.
Yeah, there you go. So you got guys that are sitting at home. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the greats are working out, but you got guys that are sitting at home.
So you tell me Larry the Prance Nance hasn't worked out at all. Is anybody else surprised?
The Prance.
This nigga looked like Bambi's mother. Like someone shoot him already.
No. He knows he wasn't playing.
He wasn't working out before quarantine. Like
there was no postseason for him. You know, there's no incentive for him to keep working because he's
exactly.
Result.
Yeah. Larry Nance is up.
Yeah, there's a couple of players that are sitting at home ain't doing shit right now, though. You know what I mean? You got your greats, like, you know LeBron is working out. We know Kawhi is probably load managing, but he's probably working out somewhere in there. We know Giannis is working out. You know what I mean? He's working out and singing One Direction at the same time on the road. You know what I mean?
Wow. But see, that's the thing, right? Like the guys who, for someone to come in now and win a championship, it's almost like they earned it that much more so because they kept up with the workouts in quarantine. They found a way to overcome an obstacle that shouldn't have even been there, but they still overcame it. You know, like if Giannis wins it, if Kawhi wins it, if LeBron wins it, if, you know, Jason Tatum wins it, God forbid if Pascal wins it, like whatever, you have to automatically say that guy led his team past something that no other champion has had to do. They were able to keep their talents together, keep their skills up, keep sharp, while everyone else was dimming out. And to be quite honest, if someone says, oh, well, you know, they won the championship, but they didn't really have any competition, I'm sorry, they beat a pandemic. And then whose fault is it that I was working while you was at home chilling, eating bonbons? That's on you, bro. I'm not going to take away someone's accolade of winning a championship because their opponent was a bucket. That's neither here nor there. If that were the case, then Michael should never be in the GOAT conversation in the first place because Craig Elo. So, you know, let's just miss me with all that. Yeah. Great is great, no matter what.
On top of the pandemic, we don't know what the playoff format would be. So if they expand the playoff format for this to accommodate some of the fringe teams, for example, because I know side note hockey might be doing that. But anyway, if they expand the playoffs, that makes it even more impressive where you're playing against potentially a couple more teams that, you know, that are and any team can win any series basically. So if you add more teams, it makes things even more interesting and it extends that playoff run for whoever wins it. In terms of an asterisk, officially speaking, there's never been an asterisk debate. Like, there are no asterisks. We put these imaginary asterisks on there, but it's not like the only time you'll ever see an asterisk is like no season was played because of like a world war or something like that, not because like blank happened to a player or blank happened to a team, blank happened to a league. So.
You know, look, remember,
we'll put an asterisk for like a lockout season just to say that it was like a shortened season, but not
exactly. I was just gonna say, like, lockout season was an asterisk season, but nobody talks about that when we talk about the championship. You don't say, "Oh yeah, they won the championship," but it was a lockout season, though. Nobody give a damn about that. They won the shit. Give them their ring and get the hell out the way.
Yeah, but you're saying that because like we don't do that, but other people do. There's even like. You know, last year the Raptors, they won the championship, and you got people saying, "Oh well, KD got injured. Oh well, Clay got injured," and stuff like that. It's like,
you gotta remember too. Those people are stupid. Those people are dumb because they don't understand that injuries are part of the game. You know, people getting hurt, people not being able to play in crunch time minutes. That's a part of the game. Part of being a professional athlete is taking care of your body. So if you get hurt, I'm not saying it's your fault, but that's a part of the game.
Oh yeah.
You know, Michael Jordan played through according to one of the homies, food poisoning. He was about to shit on the court. We all know it affectionately as the flu game, but like, sometimes it just is what it is. Allen Iverson literally said in the famous practice interview, he said, "I go out there, I put my life on the line every night," and we out here talking about practice. That's what these guys do. They go out there and they put their life on the line. So you're going to turn around and tell me, "Oh, well, the Raptors their victory is tainted because KD got hurt."
Also, speaking of Iverson, going to the lifted weight thing, Allen Iverson also said that the weights were too heavy. That's why he didn't lift them.
Hey, you know what? If he never lifted weights in his career and he just did what he did, then hats off to him.
Yeah, more power to that man. Shit.
Allen Iverson is single-handedly giving dudes like Brandon Ingram hope. You do not have to get stronger.
So speaking of putting our lives on the line, well, not our lives. We're sitting in wherever we're sitting, but I mean these players putting their lives on the line here. Like they've said, I think Adam Silver has said that, you know, if a player gets test positive, they will be isolated. The play will go on. How do we feel about that? We're talking about a series that could have one day LeBron's just out with coronavirus and the series goes on.
I think that's silly. Not because of the series thing, but I think it's silly in terms of player safety, right? If somebody tests positive, are they just going to test everyone who's in the series just in case? Mm-hmm. Because what about dudes that are asymptomatic and, you know, like 14-day incubation period? Like that's very, very tough to contend with, you know? Like how will you even know who to test unless you just test everybody?
I think that's what the plan is. I think, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're going to go ahead with this, that's what I'm saying with this asterisk stuff. Like, you know, if they're going to go ahead with this and we get this situation where we got Kawhi and LeBron in the Western Conference Finals, and one of these guys goes test positive and the series continues and then we crown a champion, like, you know, is that going to be a real championship?
Well, I think the only way to actually prevent that is what I would do if I was the NBA. I would test all of these guys, you know what I mean? Once they're tested and the test comes back negative, isolate all of them, you know. Play goes on, but isolate them away from their families, isolate them away from their friends. So kind of like, let's say you're going to Beijing to play for the Olympics and you're away from your family for like 2 months, you know what I mean? Do something like that where you put them around each other, but the outside world is shut out from them. This way, if there's no chance of anybody catching coronavirus if they do it like that. You know what I mean?
So you got, let's say you got 20 people on every team, right? And then one person out of 20 tests positive. We gonna isolate all 20 of them niggas just to say, look, dude, y'all are in this together. Like, that's some deep teamwork right there. That's team camaraderie. Yeah. Like, I mean, you gonna die, I'm gonna die. You die, I'm dying.
If it's the Knicks, it's like them niggas is damn near dead anyway. So yeah, we just go isolate. You know what I mean?
If you die, I die. As long as you win this championship. No, Jack, I see what you're saying though. Like if it was LeBron versus Kawhi in the Western Conference Finals, for example, and all of a sudden Kawhi tests positive for COVID, and then Kawhi's just gone in Game 2, and then all of a sudden the Lakers just win Game 3, 4 back to back. Like it would be like, okay, but would they have won that way if Kawhi didn't have to leave the series? Probably not. But once again, that still goes back to my previous point where part of the game is taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
If Kawhi comes back now and all of a sudden now he tests positive, that means he was doing some extracurricular activities during his quarantine that put him at risk in the first place. So
exactly.
That tells me that you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
You was out at the brothels with James Harden.
I was going to say.
If a player does test positive during this playoffs, I don't know how they can continue, or at least immediately continue. They'd have to shut everything down for a period of time. I can't see they can't risk that because again, people are asymptomatic, and if they're not going to test people frequently, then they have to leave everybody for whatever 14 days or whatever it is, and they can't just be like, all right, he's gone. We're going to keep. That's completely. Reckless, and it would lead to so much trouble down the road if more people got.
This has shit show written all over it. I feel like
100%.
It's I don't know. It's kind of like, and I think we're gonna try to stick to sports on this podcast. We're about having fun on this one, but like you do gotta look at the reality of the situation. We love sports. We all want it to come back, but like personally, like. If these guys just want to chill on it for like a few more months, I'd be fine with that because
that's really the thing. Like just relax. Let it live.
It's just money.
Who's in a rush? Like at this point, they're just trying to get their bread up. But I'd rather say like let's restart the season in September, start playoffs again in September, than try to rush it for June or something like that, and then find out that one of the real ones. Is experiencing complications because of COVID. Like, any real fan will say, don't play today, so you can play tomorrow and the day after that.
Yeah, of course.
If they can make it safe, then like bring this shit back immediately. But like it's just do it in a way that it doesn't fuck up because if we get like if sports comes back. And it's NBA playoffs, and we're all so hyped up about it. And then it's like first game, equipment manager like test positive, and then the whole shit's just shut down instantly. I'm gonna be pissed.
I'll be tight, bro. I'll be super tight.
I feel like they gotta cover all corners before they do this shit. You know what I mean? That's why I really think they should just test everybody first. Whoever's positive, you just can't play, bro. You know what I mean? And then. If you were around the person, isolate all of those players, like Jay said, isolate them for like 14 to 21 days or whatever. And then whoever's positive, we play. Take them away from their families, put them, in a hotel where it's just them. Nobody could come around them and infect them, and we'd have to go about it like that.
You know what we could do? We could have so let's say we got, again, Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus Clippers, right? And then like Kawhi tests positive and AD tests positive. What we gonna do is we gonna have the people who didn't test positive, they're gonna play the regular series, and the two niggas that tested positive, they're gonna play 1-on-1.
Wow.
So we're gonna say, Lakers win the series. Lakers won the series 4-2, but Kawhi won his split 3-1, so Kawhi gets to play for the Lakers in the finals in place of AD. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just do that.
Lost it at the end there, man.
No,
you had it. You had it.
Be wild. No. You're like Jack. You're right, man. Like, if we can make it safe. Let's get it going as soon as possible. But if there are going to be risks, then don't flirt with the idea of bringing back that level of sports if it's going to cause problems. It's not worth it. It's not worth it,
That's not.
I ain't gonna lie, man. After let's keep it a stack. Like after Kobe passed, everybody. I know everybody and their mama. I don't care who you are, what you are. Unless Kobe Bryant was your favorite player, everybody thought to themselves, oh my God, what would I do if my favorite player dies? Like, Kobe died, and I was like, yo, this hits different. Like, this hits deep. But I mean, everybody knows who my favorite player is, Check. So one of my first thoughts was like, what would I do if LeBron just died? Like, what now? Like, would I even want to watch basketball anymore? So like, there's the thought of putting the players at risk, and of course, like the players, their families, like just in general, like it's not necessary.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube is available. I would rather go on YouTube and watch every single highlight from high school all the way up to today than wait for new content and put those guys at risk. It's not worth it.
Yeah. A lot of these guys have kids and wives.
They got
and
families.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I've seen this done for other sports. I don't know if the NBA has really done it for basketball. Doing reliving previous series for like whether it's a championship series or a really close semifinals or quarterfinals, and having like inside the NBA guys comment about previous series that they may have been in or what they were in like in the past, for example.
Yeah.
It's like doing an exact inside the NBA show, but with an old series, like getting a different, like a new perspective, like a hindsight perspective into how a series was broken down and like
anything with more inside the NBA is good. Those guys are like, that's the greatest sports commentator show on television, and it has been for many years. So that I don't know, like, are they doing that? Because I need to check that out.
I've seen
that'd be great.
I've seen some for like hockey, for example, but I don't know if they've done it for basketball yet, for example. Like if inside the NBA talk about like Magic versus Bird, a couple of their series, for example, or like
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
Dope.
They're smart guys. They're probably doing it. We're just missing it. People are screaming at us right now like we're idiots. They probably have something like that out, but like.
Well, hey, like somebody. Panky, you're the research guy. Get to work. Get to researching this shit. Let's see if we're missing out on something.
Jake's is the one that gets ESPN.
That's the part.
Well, between you and Jake's, you do the research and Jake's got the money, so y'all figure it out.
It's crazy. Kobe actually did something like that a couple of years ago. He was breaking down like different series that he was in and different like I saw when he was breaking down the series in the Western Conference Finals against Melo and the Nuggets. Like that was pretty dope. So I mean, I think they should kind of take a page out of his book and continue that. You know, go like you said, go look into all of the greatest series, the greatest finals of all time, or whatever, and just break them down. You know, like
yeah. I want to see Charles Barkley. I want to see Charles Barkley try to commentate his own actions as if he knows what he was doing. He's like, you see here, you know, like I was turning around because I saw the guy over there, and then you see right here, that's when I dunked the ball because like I jumped and I put the ball in the net, and that was my decision.
Yeah, you imagine Shaq and Charles doing that. Shaq told him,
oh man,
I told Kobe, give me the ball, I passed it back. Kobe took the shot. I got the rebound and I dunked it. I looked at Phil. I said, "Hey, I'm big brother. That's why I dunked it." Niggas, they be crazy, man. Nah, we got that'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good thing to do. As a matter of fact, why don't we not ask for somebody to do it?
And we do it.
And we do it.
Yo, actually, that's not a new idea. That's actually Kirill had that idea a while back, where
Lele? Hey.
Yeah. She was like, you guys should like commentate on games. Like, you know that guy, Filet, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like just do that on full basketball games. I think that'd be hilarious.
Shout out
I ain't
to
gonna lie, that would
Jones.
be great.
What up, boy?
That would be great.
That would actually be pretty funny. We should do that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm down. Shit.
I'm with that. All right, so let's jump into this last mix, bro. So the last mix is we're looking at the way the nostalgia has been stirred up, but because of Jordan's the Last Dance documentary, we're talking about kings of an era, right? We want to know who is going to be the new king of the 2020 era. So first things first, we're going to discuss the kings of the previous eras. We're going to go from the 80s because anything before that is pretty much, I mean, Pre-'80s is just Bill Russell and Kareem. But we want to look at modern NBA, modern-ish. We look at the '80s with Magic and Bird, right? You look at the '90s with Michael Jordan. You look at the 2000s with Kobe Bryant. You look at the 2010s was all LeBron. I mean LeBron and Steph, if you will. Who's gonna carry the torch for the 2020s? So let's say 2020 to 2030. I started off like I think the next heavy hitter, number one is Giannis and number two is Zion. I think those two guys are the ones who are gonna carry forward the torch of the NBA. Anybody else who could come into that is gonna be a copy of someone before. Like Trae Young is really just, I mean, Trae Young is Mexican Steph Curry. He might not even be Mexican, but he looks like it. Luka Doncic is short-haired Dirk Nowitzki. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the guys who are, and even though Zion is chubby LeBron, he brings a little bit of a different element to the game. Like, he came in bodying dudes at 19, like fresh out the gate. If y'all remember when LeBron first came into the league at 19, he kind of had a little bit of Brandon Ingram swag to him. He was long and lanky and skinny as hell. Like, his shoulder blades, I'm pretty sure he tried to take a charge one time and popped his shoulder out just because he was too skinny. That's not facts. Don't quote me on that. However, Zion is different right out the gate, and no one has seen an athlete the level of Giannis in the NBA. So I think those are the two guys that are going to carry us into the 2020s to 2030s. What y'all think?
Okay.
I don't know if Zion has the alpha mentality. I feel like he is going to be athletically, he's going to be one of the most like popular players in the NBA. He might be one of the best players in the NBA, but I don't know if he's going to be the alpha with that. He might develop it. Like, don't get me wrong, he could very well develop it. But you look at the type of players that have been, you know, the kings of their era. It was clear from day one with all of them. With Magic, this guy was finals MVP in his rookie year. You got Bird. You got Jordan, who came in the league and he was like a superstar immediately. LeBron was a superstar immediately. So same with Kobe, pretty much. Like, Kobe was like, you know, it didn't take much time. So I wonder if that's going to be the situation if we haven't even seen it yet. The closest that's happened to that is Luka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He came in and was instantly a superstar. So, you know, maybe he's going to be at least one of those leaders. But, you know, I think it might be kind of a situation where we have a lot of different talent where we might, after LeBron hangs him up, I don't know if we're immediately going to have that unless Giannis has kind of become more aggressive at that point, or Zion has stepped up, you know, but I don't know if it's going to be one person right away.
You're right. We might also have to consider that we're transitioning into a new era of basketball altogether, where there are different styles or different archetypes of superstar that could lead us into the next decade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I think Luka. I just can't see Luka in 8 years still being as effective as he is now. Whereas I can look at someone like Zion and be like, as long as he doesn't get injured, he could dominate. He could dominate today, and he could still dominate 8 years from now. You know, like he's just got just physically, his physical prowess alone is enough for me to say he could be the face of the league for 10 years. And that's what we're talking about. Like, can Luka really be the face of the league? No, I don't think so. I think he could be the face of Europe, but not the face of the NBA.
One thing I will say, I'll say that I think in this new era of basketball, I love Luka Doncic, but I don't feel like he has the it factor in terms of, I feel like you have to have some type of athleticism in today's NBA. That's where, like, Isaiah Thomas made a really good point. He was saying back then, you know, Michael Jordan was great, you know, in terms of athleticism. They had never seen anything like it. In today's NBA, you got 10, 11 guys that are just as athletic as Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? The era has
10,
changed.
11 is way more than that. Like, you look at somebody like Shannon Brown. Shannon Brown was asked backwards when it comes to playing basketball, but he was stupidly athletic.
Oh, yeah.
You look at Nate Robinson. Matter of fact, y'all put on we have got a group chat. Spencer Dinwiddie said that earlier we saw it today where he said, you know, Michael Jordan was 6'6" with a 40-inch, and everybody was wilding because they had never seen that before. But in today's basketball, Spencer Dinwiddie's 6'6" with a 40, and everyone thinks he's unathletic. Exactly. Like you almost have to do more to be considered athletic. Like Giannis has a 6 foot, 12 foot, 20 wingspan, and then he's like, okay, that's crazy. You know, LeBron got a go gadget calf muscle. That's crazy. You know, Luka Doncic is like a warm glass of milk before bed. It's smooth. It's delightful to experience, but at the end of the day, that's it. You know, it's just
I'll be honest,
it's comic.
As great as Luka is, unless Dallas makes changes, I don't see him winning any championships. I don't. I really don't.
I think that this is starting to turn into two separate things. We're talking about which couple of players are going to be like the best over the next decade or so, and who are going to be the face of the NBA. I think those are two different things. Because Luka won't be the face, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of marketing towards him as the face of the NBA. But I think in terms of a talent level, I think he very well could be, which would be interesting because I think it's him and Giannis. And if that were to happen, it's two European developed players being like the leaders of this new NBA, which would be fascinating to see because it's never happened before. Yeah. I think sometimes it gets overlooked with Luka is how polished he is. He came right off the gate. Like there wasn't really a lot of quote unquote growing pains, I feel, this first year.
Yeah.
But he may not be as like physically athletic as some of the other guys, but like the way he facilitates the ball and makes his teammates better. I think that's going to be a huge step forward as he continues to grow, and hopefully Mark Cuban and the Maverick staff builds around him. But I think in terms of like a leadership, a quiet leader, a great facilitator, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he's got a very nice shot when it suits him. Hopefully he keeps working on that.
I agree.
Yeah, I see that.
I think it's interesting. We talk about like you know sports in general is just getting so much better every single year because of the talent and the athleticism, and like what you were saying about you know what now is considered unathletic, how it used to be considered. Like the things that happen nowadays, like you look at the NFL Combine each year or the NBA, whatever, those testing things, it's ludicrous. Like I remember we had this discussion, I'm pretty sure, I forget when, maybe in the group chat or something a while back. I remember when Myles Garrett was in the Combine, and this guy had the measurables, and it was like he was faster than Odell, like jumped higher than someone else. Like it's ridiculous. You get these dudes that are just so athletic, and now you have people like Zion coming in. You look at dudes like Giannis, and there's people coming into the NBA every single year that are going to be like this. So yeah. I'm not ruling out the possibility that the new face isn't in the NBA yet.
I agree with that, but here's one thing I do want to say.
#ball.
Kawhi Leonard is only 28 years old, bro. I
think Kawhi Leonard is gonna load manage his way into an early retirement. Cut that shit out. This nigga's gonna retire by 35.
He's so unlikable unless like, and look, you got even Canadians found a way. Like, of course we love it. We love almost everything, so we loved him. But like, he almost found a way to kind of be a dick. Like, because the entire time he was kind of just like, yeah, I guess it's okay to be here. Like, and we were like, oh, stop it. We love you so much, Kawhi. But like, you know, he's still like, he's so unlikable in terms of a marketing thing. Like, except if he's playing the whole robot thing. Speaking of,
he needs some
commercial. He's hilarious.
He needs some new sneakers. Them New Balances is destroying his image. Honestly, them shits is ugly as hell. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he is unlikable. He's not the most marketable guy, but in terms of best players, I mean, Kawhi is something, bro. I mean, KD.
That goes back to Panky's point. Like, are we talking best player or face of the league? Because Kawhi could definitely be one of the best players for the next couple of years, but he ain't going to be the face of nothing.
we're talking kings of the era, right? So kings of the
Yeah.
era have to win you have to win championships in order to be considered the king of an era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Giannis don't win a championship, he ain't king of shit. If Luka don't win a championship, he ain't king of shit. You know what I mean? You have to have at least 1 or 2 championships in that decade in order to be considered the king. You know, Jordan got 6, LeBron got 3, Steph got 3, Magic got 5. You know what I mean? Bird got 3. And these are the guys that we look at. So in my opinion, that's the landscape, right? Kawhi has already proven that he knows how to win a championship. And now look at that Clippers team. I still think the Lakers are better, but LeBron is 35. You know what I mean? Kawhi is 28. So if that Clippers team stays together, I don't know, man. Like, I see them winning at least 2 or 3 if they stay together.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But yeah, I see that too. I see that.
I'll give them 1. I'll give that team 1. Like they have enough star power and enough firepower to get at least 1. 2 or 3. I can't see 2 or 3 just because Patrick Beverley he's gonna piss everybody off and everybody's gonna leave. So I get it. I think they have the potential for that, but you're right though. You are right in saying that if Giannis don't win, then he's not the king of shit. I think Zion is gonna win, and we'll see where he wins. I don't necessarily think he's gonna win in New Orleans, but I do think he is gonna win though.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I think Zion's gonna win his first championship with a different team.
Wow, that's a hot take.
The Larry O'Brien is not going to New Orleans. That
would be so sad for them, man. That would fucking suck. They got.
It would suck, but that's life.
Anthony Davis is gonna win the championship with LA, and then you got Boogie Cousins who just disappears, and you got fucking. Oh wow, that was.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible, but that's life. That's life. It's life for them. It's life for them.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that's just, and like more so because Lonzo doesn't deserve shit. So if they win a championship in New Orleans, I'll be upset because Lonzo doesn't deserve a damn thing. Bring LaMelo into this joint so we could talk about an actual ball family member that is worth watching play basketball. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I do think he's gonna be the best ball, but
LaMelo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he's actually really good, except I feel like he's gonna be, my projection just right now is he's gonna have this career where he's like pretty good on the Sacramento Kings for like 6 years, and that's it. That's his career.
The Sun Kings.
The Sun Kings.
Him and Devin Booker. # Sun Kings.
Oh man,
who's that guy we drafted before Luka? Oh yeah, Marvin Bagley. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, no. Yo, I saw fucking LaMelo Ball play over here, man, in the good old Priene, Lithuania, and this guy was actually he can ball out. It was actually kind of embarrassing because he was so clearly better than his older brother. And I feel bad for LiAngelo. Like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's terrible.
You know who LiAngelo is? Y'all, I got sisters. I got a lot of sisters, man. So when I was in high school, my 2 little sisters used to watch this movie all the damn time. It's called Cheetah Girls. Y'all ever heard of that?
Oh shit.
Of course.
With Raven-Symoné. LiAngelo is Raven-Symoné of the Cheetah Girls because I don't know what the other 2 girls' names are. I can't remember, but if y'all know who 3LW was, there was the tall, skinny, light-skinned black girl. There was the Latina, and then there was the short, dark-skinned girl, right? So Cheetah Girls, it was the skinny. My fault. It was the skinny, light-skinned girl and the Mexican-looking girl, and then there was Raven. Raven was clearly the ugly one out. That's who Jello is. Jello is the ugly one out. Because Lonzo's big brother. Lonzo got that swag, and LaMelo come in. LaMelo's the best in the family, and then there's Jello. Jello he's gonna have like an accounting company at some point in life. Like he's not gonna be a part of the basketball family. He's gonna be somebody's agent.
I disagree with that take just because I believe that Raven is LeVar because she is the loudest and the ugliest and the most famous.
That is true.
Wow.
That is
With
true.
that being said, I'm out. This guy said Raven Simone is LeVar.
Oh man.
Wow.
There's literally no response to that.
You can't name any of the other ones.
One thing I do want to say before we wrap, I know we all got things to do today. We got to get out of here. These analysts, Shaquille O'Neal's and the Jalen Roses and the put some respect on this era of basketball, please. Put some respect on this era of basketball.
Facts.
Yeah.
We've got so many great players today. We've got the KDs, we got the Kawhis, we got the Devin Bookers, the Bradley Beals, we got the Giannis's. Okay, and on top of that, in the 90s, there was no zone defense. There really wasn't double teams like that. So please stop saying that Michael Jordan would average 50 in today's NBA because he wouldn't. He
would not. Especially considering that Michael Jordan wasn't really a sharpshooter outside of the arc. He was a mid-range guy. It's really, really hard to take a ton of mid-range jumpers against a 2-3 zone. Like a 2-3 zone alone or a 1-3-1 would shut down that mid-range jumper so quick. And the reason Steph and those guys are so good now, I mean, one of the reasons is because they're snipers, and you could snipe anywhere from the court against a 2-3 zone because everybody is staying home inside the arc.
Exactly.
Michael Jordan, like those guys trying to drive the lane. Like I remember when when LeBron played against the Pacers, when Roy Hibbert was just standing in the paint. That was difficult for them to do, and it was hard to get past that initial zone with that help defense at the back. LeBron is bigger and stronger and faster than Michael. I don't think Michael Jordan would be more effective at breaking that Pacers defense than LeBron was, and LeBron struggled with it. So I don't know who's saying this nonsense that MJ was coming here and drop 50. Like that's not true. Shut it down.
I mean, I understand that we all think Michael is great. A lot of people think he's the GOAT, and that's not my personal opinion, but I understand why people think he's the GOAT. But at the end of the day, don't diminish other players just because you think he's the GOAT and you want to make him look like he's on this other planet. It's okay. You can appreciate him and still appreciate everyone else at the same time. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's disrespectful to this era of basketball.
Absolutely.
I think he may not average 50 a season or anything like that, but I think he would still do very well in today's game.
Yeah.
I think let's just get that clear. But I think also what makes things challenging for previous generation players, if they were to be implanted into this era, is that players now are so much more adept at switching on defense. It's not like if you got to miss, it's not like as soon as somebody switches assignments, it's over. Like in previous generations of basketball. Now it's like if someone switches, it's like, okay, it's not going to be like a guaranteed basket. So they're just like zone defenses. On top of that, also is like if mismatches happen, players are now more able to handle a mismatch.
Exactly. Like I wouldn't mind having, I've seen moments, and obviously this doesn't happen frequently just based on the caliber of players. However, we have seen footage of Tristan Thompson guarding Steph Curry for 17 seconds and doing it fairly effectively. That kind of thing would have never happened in the 90s, in the 80s, 90s, or the first 5 years of the 2000s. You would have never seen Andrew Bynum, trying to guard Chauncey Billups. It just would not happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, Panky, you're right in the sense that it's the defense alone that would keep those 90 eras and 80 era players. It would stifle them in today's game. And Figgy, again, you absolutely right too. Put some respect on the game. These guys today, in the 80s, 90s, it was one or two guys changing the game. Today, everybody is changing the game. Everybody is doing something special. We look at someone like Devin Booker, and you might not necessarily look at Devin Booker and think he's one of the greatest, but that kid is a badass boy. Devin Booker can play. Booker can play. You look at somebody like Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo is not. He's nothing special in today's league, just because you're it's Vic Oladipo, but I can name you 5 Victor Oladipos in the league right now. But like, if you take away everything from around him and just look at Vic's game, that boy can play. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Also, when you look at bigs, you see Karl Anthony Towns going end to end with the ball in his hand. Like, when would you ever see a big do that ever?
yeah.
Exactly.
I defy somebody to find me footage of Patrick Ewing going end to end with the ball in his hands.
You see what I'm saying? And
Like,
I feel like all these shooting big men, they would change the way, like Shaq's effectiveness on defense. It would not be the same in today's NBA because you got guys like Jokic, you got guys like Porzingis, you got guys that will pull you out. You know what I mean? Shaq is not going to be effective on the perimeter, and if he has to come out now, he can't guard the paint anymore. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a field day going down there. I saw him saying that they would crush the Warriors. I don't think so.
I don't think
really
so.
don't think so.
Let me
Shaq would be. Go ahead, Jack.
Let me read you guys some names here, just a little comparison. And yes, I'm picking and choosing the stats that I want here. But so let me read you the 5 All NBA third team All NBA. Last year was LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin, Kemba Walker, and Rudy Gobert. That was All NBA third team. Now, 1992, All NBA third team. Dennis Rodman, okay. Kevin Willis, Brad Daugherty, Kevin Johnson, Mark.
Trash.
Come on.
Like you got LeBron, Kemba, and you got
Russell.
Mark Price.
Bruh, listen, I was looking at a list the other day. I was actually going to do it today. We're probably going to save it for next episode because Fro's not here. But I was looking at the top 10 shooting guards of the 90s. Bruh. You got Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, and Reggie Miller. Everybody else is trash.
After that, it's embarrassing.
Trash. The shooting guards today? Oh, my God.
Allen Houston, embarrassing.
Oh, my God. Bruh. Devin Booker averaged 27 this year and missed the All-Star game. Just think about that.
Jimmy Butler missed the All-Star game, didn't he? Or no, he got in afterwards, but he didn't get in initially, right? Jimmy Butler.
Nah. Damian Lillard has had so many great years and missed plenty of All-Star games. Like, just think about that.
Yeah, you got Damian Lillard as like what, the third best point guard? I guess maybe second, but whatever. Still, it's the same.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We got lots of talent. But, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. This has been another episode of Ignorant Sports Talk. See, I gotta go to bed, man. Oh, man.
Those y'all don't know, Jack is up there in the Goat Mountains. I'm in Toronto. Figgy's in Atlanta. Panky's in Toronto. Jack is in Lithuania, worshiping the gods of Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Repping Vilnius. I don't even know what Vilnius does. Vilnius have a game? Vilnius.
Like, what would that be? VS? Get off my screen.
I don't know.
Appreciate you, boys. Much love always. One more time, right. Figgy. Happy birthday, bro. Man. Big up, Earth Strong.
Happy birthday, Figgy.
Appreciate that, man. Next episode, we got to talk some Game of Zones. You know, we're going to continue this topic because I feel this is a really good topic. So be on the lookout, guys.
Game of Zones on another level always. All right. Take it easy, everyone.
Be blessed.